Eli had been walking back to his small pod for almost an hour. The twin suns were setting, casting long golden shadows across the dusty streets of the mining colony. He could feel the exhaustion in his bones. Today had been long, machines breaking down, shipments delayed, and the usual grumbling of miners complaining about rations. All he wanted was to step into the small comfort of his room, drop his pack, and collapse on the narrow cot he called a bed. But then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw Cale, his neighbor, standing in front of a door that Eli didn't even know existed until now. The tall figure had a mischievous grin plastered across his face, one that Eli had learned over the months could mean trouble or something much worse: excitement. Before Eli could even greet him, Kyle stepped forward and, without warning, grabbed Eli's arm. "Eli!" Kyle said, his voice sharp but playful. "Come on! You're spending the night here!" Eli blinked. "Wait. What?" He tried to pull back, but Kyle's grip was surprisingly strong. "And where am I supposed to sleep?" Cale laughed, a sound that made Eli feel a mixture of irritation and curiosity. "You'll see. Just come inside." Eli hesitated. He had heard stories about Cale. Everyone in the colony had. People said he was brilliant, even a little strange, always tinkering with gadgets and strange machines in his home. Some whispered about his experiments with AI, others about devices that could defy gravity. Most of the rumors sounded impossible, but Eli had never stepped inside. The idea of spending the night here made him uneasy. I don't know, Cale. I have my own place," Eli said, trying to step back. Excuses. You need a break, my friend," Kyle insisted, still holding his arm. "You look like a walking heap of dust and stress. Come on, trust me, you'll like it." Before Eli could argue further, Kyle pulled him through the doorway. The moment they stepped inside, Eli's eyes widened. The interior of the house was nothing like the outside. The walls were lined with glowing panels that shifted colors softly, almost breathing. Strange machines hummed quietly, and the air had a faint scent of ozone and fresh metal. A small drone zipped past, waving what looked like a metallic hand. Cale? What is all this?" Eli asked, his voice a mix of wonder and anxiety. Cale grinned wider than ever. "Welcome to my home, or, should I say, my little universe." Eli stepped further in, his feet echoing slightly on a metallic floor. He noticed that the furniture seemed alive, almost floating slightly above the ground. A chair adjusted itself as if inviting him to sit, and a table rotated gently, offering different surfaces. Eli rubbed his eyes. "Is this some kind of joke?" "No joke," Kyle said, clapping his hands. Suddenly, a section of the wall slid open, revealing a corridor bathed in soft blue light. "This way. You need to see where you'll sleep." Eli followed, trying to keep up, though every step made him more curious. The corridor ended in a room unlike any he had ever seen. The floor was smooth and reflective, with no visible furniture. The walls shimmered slightly like liquid metal, and in the middle of the room, a soft glow rose from the floor, forming what looked like a bed, except it wasn't a bed in any ordinary sense. It molded itself as if waiting for Eli, shaping a comfortable indentation that perfectly fit his body. This is my bed?" Eli asked, unsure whether to be impressed or worried. Cale laughed again, a sound full of delight. "Not exactly yours, yet. The house adjusts to you. Think of it as a personal comfort field. It knows how to support you, how to warm you, even how to wake you if needed." Eli stared at the bed, then back at Cale. This is insane." Cale shrugged. "Maybe, but you've been working too hard. You need more than a regular bed. Trust me." Eli hesitated, then slowly sat on the glowing surface. To his surprise, it felt perfect. It was firm yet soft and seemed to hug him in a way that made his muscles relax almost instantly. He let out a sigh he didn't realize he had been holding. "Okay, I guess this isn't too bad." Kale's eyes twinkled. "Good. You're going to sleep well. But that's not all. The house does more than just make beds. Wait until you see the rest." As if on cue, a nearby wall shimmered and changed, revealing a small window that overlooked the colony. From this height, Eli could see the long lines of mining machines moving slowly across the dusty plains, the twin suns sinking behind distant ridges. He felt a strange mix of comfort and awe. Kyle had somehow made a place that was both safe and exciting, almost magical. Eli let himself be led further into the house. Each room seemed to have its own personality. One room had walls that displayed calm oceans and gently waving palm trees. Another was filled with floating spheres of light that moved to a soft rhythm. Eli couldn't help but smile despite himself. "You've really built something incredible here." Cale nodded, proud. "Yes. And this is just the beginning. You'll see things tonight that might change how you see everything." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Everything?" Kyle winked. "You'll understand soon enough. For now, try to relax, eat something, hydrate. Let the house guide you." Eli noticed a small table with neatly arranged food and drinks. He picked up a piece of fruit, examining it. It looked ordinary, but when he bit into it, the taste exploded in his mouth, sweeter and fresher than any fruit he had ever eaten on the colony. He laughed quietly. "Okay, this is amazing." "Everything in here is optimized," Kyle said, watching him closely. "Even taste, even sleep, even mood. You'll feel like yourself, but better." Eli finished eating and leaned back against the glowing bed. "I feel like I'm in some kind of dream. Is this real?" Kyle walked over and sat down across from him. "Real enough. More real than you'd think. Sometimes humans need a little push to see what they're capable of. Tonight, you'll get a glimpse." Eli frowned slightly, curiosity piqued. "Push? What do you mean?" Cale just smiled mysteriously. "You'll see. But first, rest. The night is long, and the house has ways of helping you prepare for it." As Eli lay back, the glowing bed adjusting perfectly to his shape, he realized he felt safer than he had in months. Something about this house, about Cale's strange invitation, filled him with anticipation. The exhaustion of the day melted away, replaced with a strange excitement. He didn't know what was coming, but for the first time in a long time, he felt ready for it. Outside, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, and the colony's lights flickered on. Inside, Eli drifted off into a calm, curious sleep, unaware that his ordinary life was about to change in ways he could never imagine. The house hummed quietly around him, almost like it was alive, waiting for the night's adventures to begin. And Cale, sitting nearby, watched with a grin, knowing that this night would be unlike any other. Eli woke slowly. The soft glow from the walls made him squint, and for a moment he wasn't sure if he was still dreaming. His bed, or whatever it really was, had molded itself perfectly to his body. The sensation was so strange and comforting that he didn't want to move. The exhaustion from yesterday's work had vanished. Instead, he felt alert, awake, and strangely curious. Before he could sit up, a soft chime echoed through the room. The bed's glow shifted gently, and a panel slid open from the wall, revealing a tray of breakfast, steaming fruit, soft bread, and a drink that sparkled faintly in the light. Eli blinked. "This is too much," he muttered, amazed. Kyle appeared in the doorway, leaning casually. "Too much? Or just right?" he asked. His grin never faded. "Eat. We have a lot to show today." Eli hesitated for a moment, then sat up and took the food. Every bite was perfect, sweet, warm, and comforting. He wondered briefly how Kale managed this. The colony's supplies were usually bland, even stale. This tasted alive. After breakfast, Kale clapped his hands. "Come on, I'll show you something." The walls shimmered and shifted, forming a wide doorway that opened into a long corridor. Eli followed, trying to take in the house around him. Every surface seemed alive. Panels flickered with symbols, soft lights danced along the ceiling, and machines hummed in the corners. Nothing felt static. "Wait," Eli stopped. "Does this house move?" Kale laughed. "Move. It adapts. It responds. You'll see soon. The house is more than walls and furniture. It's alive in its own way. It learns from you, adjusts to you. Think of it as a friend that listens without talking." Eli frowned but followed. As they walked, the walls shifted again, revealing rooms he hadn't noticed before. One room had a small pool of water glowing with faint blue light. Another looked like a forest, complete with gently waving trees and floating fireflies. "Kyle, this is incredible," Eli whispered. "I've never seen anything like this. How do you—" Kale raised a hand. "Don't worry about how. Just experience it. That's the important part." Eli noticed a set of stairs that didn't lead anywhere visible. As he climbed, the steps seemed to stretch into the air, forming a floating path. He gasped. "This isn't real, right?" Kale's grin widened. "Real enough. The house is designed to make the impossible feel normal. You'll understand more soon." At the top of the stairs, they entered a large chamber filled with spheres of light floating in midair. Each sphere projected a scene. One showed a ship flying through a meteor storm, another showed a city of lights on a distant planet, and yet another showed an alien landscape full of massive creatures. Eli walked slowly, staring at each sphere in wonder. "What are these?" he asked. "Simulations," Kale said. "The house can create any environment we want. You can walk through worlds, experience things, learn things. And the best part? It all feels real because the house knows how to trick your senses just enough to make it believable." Eli reached out to touch a sphere, and suddenly he was inside it. The air shifted around him, carrying scents of alien flowers. Gravity felt slightly different, and the sky above shimmered with unfamiliar stars. He stumbled at first, then steadied himself. It was as if he had been transported to another world entirely. "Whoa," he breathed. "This is amazing." Kale's voice came from everywhere. "That's only the beginning. The house doesn't just show you things. It teaches you, challenges you. It can push you to grow." Eli felt a strange thrill run through him. Grow? How? "Through experience," Kyle said simply. "The house adapts to your abilities, your fears, your strengths. It presents situations that make you think, that make you solve problems. Some may seem small, some may feel huge, but by the end, you'll realize you're capable of more than you thought." The next simulation activated automatically. Eli found himself standing on a rocky cliff above a swirling storm. A small alien craft hovered nearby, struggling against the wind. A voice, not Kale's, but part of the simulation, that said, "The pilot needs help. Can you stabilize the ship and guide it to safety?" Eli's stomach twisted. He had never flown a ship, not even in a simulator before. But instinct kicked in. He reached for the controls projected in front of him. The craft jerked under his touch, but he gradually learned to guide it, balancing against the violent gusts. His heart pounded, sweat dripped from his brow, but he kept going. Step by step, he learned, adapted, and succeeded. When he finally landed the craft safely, the simulation faded, and Eli found himself back in the chamber of spheres. He was breathing heavily, hands shaking slightly. Kale clapped. See? You just learned to fly an alien craft through a storm. Not bad for your first try. Eli laughed, a little nervously. I actually did it? You did, Kale said. And that's just the first of many things. The house will show you challenges, puzzles, situations where you have to think, adapt, and act. You may fail sometimes. You may struggle, but you'll always learn. And the learning, that's what matters most. Eli felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. For years, life on the colony had been repetitive. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. He had never felt challenged like this, and yet it was exhilarating. Kale led him next to a room that resembled a small garden. Plants of every shape and color grew under artificial sunlight. The air was warm, carrying the scent of flowers and fresh earth. Eli relaxed, brushing his fingers over soft petals. The house isn't just about challenges, Kale said. It's about balance, learning, growth, rest, comfort, everything. Humans need more than just work or survival. You need spaces that nurture your mind and body. That's what this house does. Eli nodded slowly. I think I understand. It's alive. Not like a robot, but more like it feels somehow. Kale's smile was quiet but satisfied. Exactly. The house learns about you as much as you learn from it. It adapts, responds, helps. Sometimes humans just need a little guidance to reach their potential. That's what we're doing here tonight. You're going to experience more than you ever imagined, and by morning, you'll see yourself differently. Eli looked around the chamber, at the softly glowing plants, at the spheres of light waiting to show him worlds, at the strange humming machines. He realized he was beginning to understand. This house was more than walls and furniture. It was a place where humans could grow, a place where ordinary people could discover extraordinary abilities. He felt a small thrill in his chest. For the first time in a long time, he was excited about what tomorrow might bring. He felt alive. Kyle clapped him on the shoulder. Get some rest for now. We'll start the real experiences after the next cycle of simulations. Sleep, dream, and prepare. The house will handle the rest. Eli lay back in the glowing bed, letting his mind wander. He thought of the alien ships, the storm, the garden, the floating lights. The house was incredible. He was curious, and he was ready. Outside, the twin suns had vanished, leaving the colony bathed in the soft light of distant stars. Inside, the house continued its quiet hum, alive and aware, waiting for the night's journey to unfold. And Eli, for the first time in years, felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Possibility. The adventure, he realized, was only beginning. Eli woke to a soft hum, the kind that seemed to vibrate not just through the walls, but through his entire body. The house had shifted around him while he slept. The glowing bed had retracted slightly, and the room now displayed a large window overlooking a strange cityscape he didn't recognize. He blinked and rubbed his eyes. Was he still dreaming? Before he could wonder further, Kyle appeared in the doorway, carrying a small device that pulsed with soft light. Good morning, Kyle said, his tone calm but carrying a hint of excitement. Today is important. Eli sat up slowly. Important? For what? What are we doing today? Kale stepped closer, placing the device on a nearby pedestal. Today, you see the real purpose of the house. It's not just about comfort or floating gardens or flying alien ships. It's about unlocking potential. Humans can do amazing things, Eli. Things you might not even imagine. And the house helps you discover that. Eli frowned. Potential? I don't feel special. I'm just me. Kale smiled. Exactly. That's what most humans think. But ordinary people often surprise themselves when they're given the right environment, the right challenges, and the right guidance. That's why you're here. Before Eli could respond, the room shimmered and shifted. Walls became transparent, revealing a vast space beyond. Thousands of holographic displays appeared in midair, each showing complex calculations, alien landscapes, and city grids. It was overwhelming, but Eli felt a strange pull toward it. "Whoa. This is—" Eli began, unable to find the words. Kyle nodded. "It's a projection of possibilities. Some are simulations of real situations humans may face. Others are exercises in creativity, logic, and empathy. The house tailors everything to you. Don't worry if it seems confusing. You'll learn by experiencing it." Eli stepped closer to a holographic display showing a bustling alien market. He watched as strange creatures bartered and traded, negotiating in ways humans rarely did. "Is this real?" he asked. "In a way," Kyle said. "Simulated, yes. But your reactions, your decisions, your strategies, those are real. And they matter. You'll see soon enough." Kyle gestured to a circular platform in the center of the room. "Step onto this. Don't be afraid, the house will take care of everything." Eli hesitated, but curiosity won. He stepped onto the platform. The floor beneath him glowed softly, and the walls dissolved entirely. Suddenly, he was standing in the middle of a forest unlike any on Earth. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and something faintly metallic. Birds with iridescent feathers flew overhead, and small creatures scuttled through the underbrush. "Where am I?" Eli whispered. "You are in a simulation," Kale's voice echoed around him, "but treat it as real. This is a test of observation, awareness, and decision-making. You must navigate this environment, find your way to the city ahead, and help its inhabitants with a problem they face." Eli's heart raced. He had never faced a test like this. But as he started walking, he realized something strange. The forest wasn't random. Every step he took seemed to guide him naturally, showing subtle signs of direction, a broken branch pointing one way, a faint path glowing slightly under his feet. The house was helping him, without him even realizing it. After a while, he reached the city. Towering crystalline buildings sparkled in the sunlight, and creatures of every shape and size moved through the streets. Eli noticed a commotion near the central plaza. A crowd had gathered around a mechanical creature, clearly malfunctioning and causing panic. Eli froze. "What do I do?" Kyle's voice was calm. "Observe, think, act. Use logic, creativity, and empathy. The house will guide your hands if needed, but the decisions, those are yours." Taking a deep breath, Eli approached the creature. It was large, metallic, and clearly intelligent, but its movements were erratic. He reached out cautiously, examining its design. A small panel on its side blinked, indicating an error in its core functions. Eli recalled some of Kale's teachings about circuitry and systems. He reached into his pocket and pulled a small tool Kale had given him the night before. A device he didn't realize could interact with simulations. With shaking hands, he adjusted a few panels, pressed some buttons, and rerouted power to stabilize the core. Slowly, the creature stopped thrashing, its eyes blinking in recognition. The crowd in the plaza cheered, and the alien citizens approached Eli, bowing in gratitude. Eli exhaled heavily. "I did it. I actually did it." Kale's voice filled the air, calm and proud. "Yes, and this is just one example. The house can create countless challenges like this, each one designed to push you, teach you, and help you discover your strengths. Humans are more capable than they realize, often more than they believe themselves to be. That's what this house reveals." Eli felt a strange surge of confidence. For the first time, he felt that he could do things he had never imagined. He realized that Kyle had been right. Sometimes, humans just needed guidance and the right environment to see what they were truly capable of. As he returned to the chamber, the holographic displays shifted again. Now, Scenes of distant planets, massive construction projects, and diplomatic negotiations filled the air. Kyle gestured to one display, showing a human delegation negotiating peace with alien species. "See this?" Kyle said. "Even ordinary humans can influence outcomes that shape worlds. Courage, logic, empathy, and creativity. Those are the tools. And the house can train you in ways life outside rarely does." Eli studied the scene carefully. The humans were calm, focused, listening to each party's needs. They responded with strategy and empathy, balancing their interests with the needs of the aliens. It fascinated him. "It's amazing how much can be done without fighting," he said. Kale nodded. "That's what I want you to see. Humans aren't just strong physically. Our real strength is in our minds, our hearts, and our ability to adapt. The house can show you that." For hours, Eli moved from simulation to simulation. He navigated alien cities, solved intricate puzzles, and even negotiated disputes between holographic species. Each challenge tested him differently. Sometimes his logic, sometimes his empathy, sometimes his courage. Each time he succeeded, the house subtly adjusted, presenting slightly harder challenges, encouraging him to think more deeply, to act more boldly. By the time evening approached, Eli felt exhausted but exhilarated. He had never imagined that he could do so much, think so quickly, and react so effectively. The house had not just shown him new worlds, it had revealed abilities within himself he had never recognized. Kale appeared beside him, smiling quietly. "Do you see now? This is the purpose of the house, not just comfort, not just wonder, but growth. Humans are capable of more than they know. You've taken your first steps." Eli nodded slowly. I think I understand. It's not just the simulations. It's how I react to them. It's me. The house just shows me what I can do." Kale's smile widened. "Exactly. And tomorrow the experiences will grow more complex. You will face situations that will test your creativity, your patience, your ability to understand others. And through all of it, you will discover more about yourself than you ever thought possible." Eli felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He knew that whatever came next would be challenging, but for the first time in his life, he also felt ready. The house had unlocked something in him, a spark of confidence, courage, and curiosity. As night fell, the house shifted again. Soft lights bathed the chamber and gentle music floated through the air. Eli lay back in the glowing bed, thinking about the day's experiences, the forest, the alien city, the malfunctioning mechanical creature. Each challenge had taught him something new. Kale sat nearby, watching him quietly. "Sleep well," he said. "Tomorrow, the house will take you even further. You are ready for what comes next." Eli closed his eyes, feeling a sense of calm and anticipation. He realized that this night, like the last, was not about rest alone. It was about preparing him for growth, for discovery, for understanding the full potential of being human. And as the house hummed softly around him, alive and aware, Eli understood that the journey was just beginning. Eli awoke to a strange vibration running through the floor. At first he thought it was part of a dream, but the soft hum of the house felt different, urgent. He sat up on the glowing bed, alert and aware. Something was happening. Kyle appeared at the doorway almost immediately, his expression serious. "Eli," he said calmly, "there's a problem outside. One of the colony's mining AI units has gone rogue. It's malfunctioning and heading toward the residential sector. If it reaches the colony, it could cause serious damage." Eli's stomach tightened. "Rogue AI? Can't someone stop it?" Kale shook his head. "The AI is too fast and too unpredictable. This is why I brought you here. You've trained today. The house has taught you skills, observation, strategy, calm thinking under pressure. Now you'll put them to use." Eli swallowed hard. His mind flashed back to the simulations he had completed. The alien city, the mechanical creature, the puzzles, the negotiations. Somehow all of it felt relevant. The house had been preparing him. Cale guided Eli to a new chamber. The walls shifted into a panoramic view of the colony outside. Through the transparent panels, Eli could see the rogue AI, a towering metallic machine thrashing and moving at high speed toward the populated area. Eli stepped closer, instinctively analyzing its movements. It's huge. How do we stop it? Kyle pointed to a holographic console floating in midair. We won't fight it with force. You'll use your brain. The house can guide your hands, but the strategy comes from you. Analyze the AI, predict its behavior, and find a way to redirect it safely. Eli took a deep breath. He studied the machine's path. Its sensors seemed to focus only on obstacles, not the people or buildings around it. He noticed patterns, pauses in its movement, repeated sequences in its scanning protocol. His mind raced as he recalled the simulations. Observation, pattern recognition, quick problem-solving. He could do this. Cale handed him a small tool, glowing faintly. This will interface with the AI's sensors. Think of it as a translator. It will help you communicate with the machine in ways it understands. Eli took the tool and approached the interface console. He placed it on the control panel projected in front of him. Immediately, the console displayed streams of data, streams he barely understood. But then he remembered Cale's teachings. Focus on patterns, not numbers. Look for what repeats. Predict what will happen next. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. Eli traced the AI's routines, anticipating its next moves. He realized it was not malicious. It was confused, its logic loop corrupted. If he could reroute its instructions, it might follow a safer path away from the colony. Kyle, I think I can do this, Eli said, his voice trembling with determination. You can, Kyle affirmed. Trust yourself. The house will support you. But the actions are yours. Eli focused. He initiated the interface. The tool pulsed, sending signals to the rogue AI. At first, there was no response. The machine thrashed violently, moving dangerously close to residential buildings. Eli's hands shook, but he reminded himself, observation, strategy, calm thinking. Step by step, he adjusted the AI's path. Small changes in its movement appeared, a slight pause, a gentle turn. The machine was responding. Eli's heart pounded. He continued, guiding it with precise adjustments. The AI's thrashing slowed. It began moving away from populated areas toward a wide-open stretch of terrain outside the colony. Kyle watched silently, pride in his eyes. You're doing it, Eli. Keep going. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the AI reached the open terrain. Eli released the interface tool. The machine halted, then powered down safely, its system stabilized by the adjustments he had made. Eli sank to the floor, breathing heavily. I did it, he whispered, disbelief and relief flooding him. Kyle stepped forward and clapped him on the shoulder. Yes, you did. And this is exactly what I wanted you to see. Humans, with the right guidance and environment, can solve problems without violence. Observation, reasoning, empathy. These are more powerful than brute force. Eli looked out at the now still machine. He realized something remarkable. The house had prepared him for this challenge. Every simulation, every exercise, every lesson from Cale had been training him to respond effectively, and he had succeeded. You see, Cale said softly, even ordinary humans are capable of extraordinary things. You just need the right conditions and the right encouragement. The house shows what humans can do when they focus, adapt, and act. Eli nodded slowly, a smile spreading across his face. For the first time, he felt a deep confidence in himself. a belief that he could rise to challenges he had never imagined facing. Kale led him back into the chamber. The walls shifted again, showing a calm, glowing garden filled with floating lights and softly swaying plants. "Rest here for a moment," Kale said. "You've earned it. The house can repair energy and focus just as easily as it can prepare you for action. But there's more tomorrow. You're only halfway through what I have planned." Eli sank into a soft patch of glowing moss, feeling the gentle hum of the house around him. He thought about the rogue AI, about the simulations, about the skills he had discovered within himself. He had never imagined being able to think so clearly under pressure, to act decisively, or to understand patterns in chaos. "You're ready for more," Kale said, almost as if reading his thoughts. "Tomorrow you will face even greater challenges, and through them you will grow even stronger." Eli closed his eyes, letting the house's energy wash over him. He felt a deep sense of calm, knowing he had done something extraordinary. Not through force, not through luck, but through his own reasoning and adaptability. He understood now what Kale had meant. Humans could rise to challenges that seemed impossible if they had the guidance and confidence to try. As night fell, the twin suns replaced by the quiet glow of distant stars, Eli felt a new sense of purpose. The house hummed around him, alive and aware, waiting for the next challenge, the next lesson, the next opportunity to reveal what humans were truly capable of. He drifted into sleep with a feeling of quiet triumph. The rogue AI was neutralized, the colony was safe, and he had discovered something essential. The mind of a human could overcome nearly anything, if nurtured, guided, and trusted. And the house, with Kale's wisdom and foresight, had been the perfect teacher. Eli dreamed of distant worlds, floating lights, and impossible machines. He dreamed of possibilities he had never considered. And he woke the next morning with a new resolve, ready to face whatever the house had planned next. For tonight had proven one truth: humans could rise above fear, confusion, and danger, and emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than they ever believed. Eli woke to a soft, warm light. The house had shifted around him while he slept. The glowing walls were now a gentle amber, and the familiar hum that filled the house had a calm, soothing quality. For the first time since arriving, he didn't feel anxious or overwhelmed. Instead, he felt complete. Kale appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray of breakfast. It was simple, yet extraordinary: steaming fruit, fresh bread, and a drink that shimmered faintly. "Good morning," Kale said, smiling. "Sleep well?" Eli sat up, stretching and feeling the muscles in his back loosen. "I actually did, and I feel different. Stronger somehow." Kale nodded. "You've learned a lot these past nights, not just about the house or simulations, but about yourself. Humans are amazing creatures, Eli. Often we underestimate what we are capable of. But once you see it, you carry that knowledge with you forever." Eli looked around, noticing the subtle changes in the house. Panels shimmered gently, walls reconfigured into open spaces filled with plants and floating lights. Everything was designed to make one feel calm, alert, and aware. He realized that the house wasn't just a home or a simulator. It was a teacher, a guide, a mentor, alive in its own unique way. Kale set the tray down and gestured to a small garden that floated slightly above the floor, defying gravity. Eli walked over, his feet feeling the soft hum of the floor beneath him. Flowers of every color glowed softly, and tiny insects with wings of light moved between the petals. "You see," Kyle said, "the house prepares you, yes, but it also reminds you of balance. Growth is important, but so is peace, rest, and reflection. You need to understand all aspects of yourself to become the best version of who you can be." Eli knelt beside a floating flower, brushing his fingers over the petals. "I think I understand now. The house isn't just showing me what I can do. It's helping me become what I can do. Kyle smiled quietly. Exactly. And this is only the beginning. Life outside this house is full of challenges. But now you know something very important, that you are capable of more than you imagine, that your mind, your heart, your reasoning, and your empathy are tools stronger than any weapon. Eli leaned back against a soft, glowing wall and let his thoughts drift. He remembered the rogue AI, the alien city simulations, the floating lights, and the mechanical creature. Every experience had built his confidence, his reasoning, and his ability to adapt. The lessons weren't just simulations. They were windows into his potential. You know, Eli said slowly, I was always just me, working, eating, surviving. I never thought I could do anything extraordinary. But now I see I can. Kyle's eyes gleamed with quiet pride. Most humans only see what they think they can do. But when given the right environment and guidance, we discover things we didn't know existed inside us. Courage, ingenuity, patience, empathy, all of it. You have all of these things. You just needed a chance to see them. Eli took a deep breath and looked around the garden. The house hummed softly, almost like it was alive and aware of his thoughts. So, all of this was for me, he asked. Cale nodded. For you, and for anyone willing to learn. Humans are capable of extraordinary things, Eli. This house only exists to show that potential and guide people to it. For a while, they sat in silence, enjoying the calm of the garden. The twin suns had risen again, casting soft light across the distant colony beyond the walls. The mining machines moved slowly across the dusty plains, but Eli no longer felt the weight of monotony. Instead, he felt purpose, curiosity, and confidence. After a while, Kyle spoke again. Tomorrow you will leave this house and return to your pod. But remember what you learned here. The house can guide you, yes, but it's you who will take the lessons into the real world. Humans are capable of solving problems, creating new possibilities, and rising to challenges that seem impossible. Always remember that. Eli nodded, feeling a surge of gratitude. Thank you, Kyle. I don't even know what to say. I've never felt like this before. You don't need to say anything, Cale replied. Just carry it with you, and don't forget. You are capable of greatness, sometimes in ways you cannot yet imagine. Eli spent the rest of the morning exploring the house one last time. He revisited the rooms he had seen before, the chamber of floating spheres, the forest simulation, the gardens, and noticed new details each time. He realized that the house, like him, was constantly learning and adapting. Every time he returned, it offered something slightly different, gently pushing him to notice, to think, to reflect. Finally, Cale guided him to the main doorway. The corridor shimmered, and Eli stepped through into the bright morning sunlight of the colony. For the first time, the world outside didn't feel overwhelming or dull. It felt full of possibility. Eli turned back, looking at the house one last time. It shimmered gently, lights glowing softly, as if aware of his gaze. He felt a strange connection, a sense that the house wasn't just a building. It was a partner, a teacher, and a reminder of what humans could achieve. He walked toward his pod with a newfound confidence. The dusty streets no longer felt monotonous. Every challenge, every obstacle, every interaction became an opportunity. He realized that even the mundane tasks of life, work, cooperation, problem-solving, were arenas for growth, creativity, and ingenuity. As he reached his pod, he remembered Cale's words. Humans are capable of greatness, sometimes in ways you cannot yet imagine. He smiled quietly, knowing he would never forget the lessons of the house. Inside his pod, he set his pack down and looked around. It felt smaller and simpler than Kyle's house, but now he saw it differently. It was a space he could control, adapt, and improve. The lessons from the past nights would guide him here, in the real world. Eli took a deep breath and opened a small window to watch the colony. The twin suns were rising, and the dust of the plains glowed golden. He felt ready to face the day, to tackle whatever came his way with confidence and creativity. He thought of the rogue AI, the simulations, the lessons, and Kale. He realized that growth wasn't just about solving problems in controlled environments. It was about carrying the mindset into the unpredictable, challenging world outside. And for the first time, Eli felt truly prepared for life's uncertainties. As he began his work on the colony, Eli noticed small changes in himself. He was more patient with the miners, more attentive to the machinery, more confident in his decisions. Even small tasks felt meaningful because he understood that human potential was not measured only in extraordinary events, but in the way people approached everyday life. By evening, Eli returned to his pod, exhausted but satisfied. He thought about Kyle, the house, and the lessons he had learned. The experience had changed him profoundly. He realized that human ingenuity, courage, and empathy were not abstract ideas. They were tools, always ready to be used once discovered and understood. As night fell, Eli lay on his simple cot. It wasn't glowing or shifting, but it didn't matter. He closed his eyes, feeling a deep sense of calm and achievement. The house had prepared him not just for challenges, but for life itself, and now he knew he was ready to embrace it fully. Outside, the colony slept under the light of distant stars. Inside, Eli dreamed of possibilities, adventures, and challenges yet to come, and he smiled, knowing that he had grown in ways he could never have imagined before his nights with Kale. The house, far away and silent now, had done its job. It had revealed what humans could achieve, and Eli had learned to see the extraordinary in himself. And for the first time in his life, he knew that ordinary people, with guidance, opportunity, and courage, could do extraordinary things.